Welcome into yet another edition of the Ben Garcia Show. I appreciate you guys being patient with me this morning. See, listen, this is what happens when you're a one-man band. I tell you guys this all the time, but these are the underlying issues. Speaking of underlying issues, what's the biggest thing that could derail the Cardinals season that legitimately no one is talking about? And I haven't talked some Diamondbacks recently, and I gotta be honest with you, I gotta get to it, so let's do it right now.
The Ben Garcia Show. Yeah. Woo. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need them. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth, better have thick skin like callus. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show. Go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show. Go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia Show.
What is up, guys? Welcome into yet another edition of the Ben Garcia Show. Thank you so much for making me a part of your day. However you're watching, however you're following the show, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. This is the part of the show where I kind of ramble for a little bit, and I just want to take a second to talk about some of the NBA playoff stuff. This isn't something that I'm going to break out into a YouTube video later, really anything that you guys might even care about when it comes to the Ben Garcia Show. You guys care about my Arizona thoughts, sports, and opinions. But can I just say really quickly, my hottest take, and something that I continue to be right about on a night-in, night-out basis, is Jason Tatum and his inability to be good and efficient when the team needs him. Holy cow, are you watching the NBA playoffs right now? And it's not even the fact that the NBA playoffs are happening as we speak and the Phoenix Suns are hiring unqualified general managers as one of the best NBA playoffs in the last decade are unfolding. And it's frustrating because it is so entertaining to watch. I'm glued to my seat watching these games. But man, have I been more right on Jason Tatum than anyone else. I have continued to try to tell people there are 8 at most at a time superstars in the NBA. These are players that can take you to a championship, and largely you need to win a championship. And I've continued to say Tatum's not that guy, guys. You got to have some ability to play well when your team needs you. And I had a tweet that went bonkers on social media about me saying, hey, listen, Tatum's a great player. Very good, skilled, reminds me of Jalen Hurts in some ways, where it's about the collection of talent around him. And oh my goodness, everyone in Boston found that tweet and was coming for my neck. This guy's made like a combined 10 shots through 2 games. Holy cow, Boston is blowing it, and it has been just so fun to watch. All right. I haven't been more right on someone in a very long time, but holy cow, Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics continue to spiral down the drain, and when they need him, he has no ability to show up. All right. I got that out of my system. All right, we're not talking about it right now. We have some Cardinals talk that is going to come on later in the show. Ivan, that's so funny. That's so funny that you say that, because I have been preaching for years that Jason Tatum is the Devin Booker of the East Coast, and I've gotten so much backlash for it. So give me a second. That is like one of the things that I thought about kind of arguing is Jason Tatum is clearly a 2. He is not a 1. He has a counterpart. He's just in the Western Conference. It's Devin Booker. They're the same player, except one player plays in the Eastern Conference and one player plays in the Western Conference. Both players, when teams need them the most, Devin Booker in Game 6 and Game 5 of the NBA Finals, or I guess I should say Devin Booker in elimination games, is not great. Jason Tatum in games where they need him just to not be awful or help them crawl them back from a deficit, they're the same player. Jason Tatum is just 6'8" Devin Booker with better defense. But if you're telling me which guy I would want, I mean, for the longest time, I argued Devin Booker, but at this point, they're the Spider-Man meme at each other. They're the same player. One's in the Eastern Conference, one's in the Western Conference. Both guys are 2s and occupy the spot of the best Robin in the NBA, but neither guys are 1s. And both guys, Devin Booker's Phoenix Suns in 2021, went up 2-0 on the Milwaukee Bucks, should have won that series. It ended up not happening, but because obviously he took the foot off the gas. But that Boston Celtics team, there's a reason why the Finals MVP and Conference Finals MVP went to Jaylen Brown. But Celtics fans will continue to tell you, well, he led the team in points, rebounds, and assists. Great. Check his efficiency stats on those points. He shot like 30% from 3, and I think lower 40s in field goal percentage. And then rebounds and assists, I'm not going to act like I care so much about a forward getting 10 boards. All right. I'm done. Blame that one on Ivan. Blame that one on Ivan. Anyways. Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, they're the same player. They're the Spider-Man meme. Maybe we'll do that rant on Monday. But we got to see what happens when it comes to that. That's a great idea. Ivan, you're a good guy, but you've torn me for the last time. We got to get to some Cardinal stuff later in the show. So for the people in there waiting for that, give me a little bit of time. But the Arizona Diamondbacks have been a little bit of a disappointment so far this season. I almost feel like a liar when it comes to you guys. I told you guys there's a team coming down the pipeline that remind you of the 2021 Phoenix Suns. They're homegrown. They went and got a big player in Corbin Burns, splash signing. Zach Gallen, who's been decent over the past couple weeks, over the last couple of starts, but still they have some issues. And the Diamondbacks at this point have become fun to watch, too hard to watch really quickly. They lose in the most disastrous ways. Yesterday, I'm watching them against the Mets, and they have a chance to go up in this game, and Eugenio Suarez is rounding third, and the ball is nearly in Lindor's hands, who plays shortstop. It's these boneheaded decisions with no outs where you're sending Eugenio Suarez home. They might have had one out. I can't remember exactly. But either way, this is not exactly a fast guy. You're sending someone home, and this team is starting to have real issues where you potentially bring someone else up to bat. Alek Thomas just hit for a double. He gets called out at home. It wasn't close. Eugenio Suarez. And you continue to tell yourself, man, these are the horrific ways the Arizona Diamondbacks continue to lose. You can't continue to do this. And please don't tell me it's early, because we said that last year, and the Diamondbacks missed the playoffs. These are the games that matter. And games against opponents who have a winning record, the Diamondbacks have not been great against. That I know that off the top of my head, so I'm going to go ahead and look it up, even though I probably should have had that, but I guess I can't pull that up at this moment. But either way, the Diamondbacks aren't even teams over 500, the Diamondbacks are 11-11. They're 10 or I guess everything else would be the case against teams under 500. But over 500, they're a 500 team. That's what the Diamondbacks are. They can't beat good teams. They're 19-18. They're 2.5 games out of a wild card. They're 6 games back already of the Dodgers in May. Like, I know that there's this idea that it's early, but you're not catching the Dodgers. You're already not. You're fighting for a wild card berth. Please don't tell me that it's early. And I have been pretty defensive about Torey Lavell because I think a lot of what the Diamondbacks do is centered around what Mike Hazen wants to do. He's been terrible recently. Managing the bullpen has been bad. And yesterday, Torey got a little snippy with reporters and snippy with fans. It seems like Torey has been reading the headlines a little bit. Yesterday, let me paint a picture for you. There's guys on first and second. I can't remember who the players are. I believe one of them is Pavin. No, one of them is Jose Herrera. And I think the other one is Corbin Carroll. And the Diamondbacks go up there. Geraldo Perdomo, their RBI leader. So let me paint this picture for you a little bit better. Guys on second. There's a guy on second. There's a guy on first. Your RBI leader is up to bat. You have 0 outs. And Torey Lavell has Geraldo Perdomo bunt. And Torey admitted this was him. This isn't my conspiracy that maybe Hazen is running the show. These are the kinds of things that can't happen. Compile it with sending Eugenio Suarez from second all the way to home on a double where Francisco Lindor already has the ball ready to gun him out. These are the horrific ways the Arizona Diamondbacks continue to lose. Torey Lavell spoke on this yesterday, and I didn't like his answer. Here you go.
It's kind of that gray area, and my projection was I wanted to get us to a lead, protect Merrill with our positive role relievers. This is a part of the game that the common fan may not understand. I have one of two choices. Look, there's two roads for me to choose. If we're ahead, I choose option A, and that's where I feel like we're going to go out and win a baseball game. Option B are the negative role relievers where there's a chance we can get banged around a little bit. So I want to protect Merrill with a lead, and the reason why I have to choose option A and option B in certain situations is if I choose option A, I don't have them ready for tomorrow. So I was going to sell out on one side of it. So it was my call, 100%. We talked about it. We use bunting as a weapon. Truth be told, 2-0, I was going to take it off and let him hit, but it never got there. We got to be better in a couple of situations. Got to bunt strikes. You hit strikes, you bunt strikes. Exact same thing. So maybe let the pitcher throw a couple more balls. He might get himself in a different situation.
Yeah, we use bunting as a weapon. That's how Torey Lavell felt like that was the right response to yesterday's debacle of a loss against the Mets. All these blunders are when the game is 0-0. The Diamondbacks have a chance to go up on this team 2-0, 3-0, and then it's a completely different ball game. Guys get tight. You have Corbin Carroll who's going to gun for a home run later in the game. Torey's response is, we use bunting as a weapon. You use bunting as a weapon when Jose Herrera and Garrett Hampson is up to the plate. You don't do it with your RBI leader. The New York Yankees don't have Aaron Judge bunt. The Philadelphia Phillies don't have Bryce Harper bunt. The problem with the Diamondbacks is they play every single game like they're up 8-0. They play defensive. They don't play to win. They think because they have a collection of talent now that is going to carry them past the finish line. And what's going to happen is you are going to be one of the biggest jokes in baseball if you don't get your head out of your asses. Torey Lavell doesn't seem like an aggressive guy to me, and I've largely defended him. But this defensive baseball nonsense is starting to drive me crazy. These are games that you have to win, but instead you're losing games at home. You are a competent baseball team. This team is star-studded. And I'm sorry, one game over 500 is not going to cut it. It's just not. At this point, I don't even think they're that. Diamondbacks, yeah. One game over 500 is not going to cut it. 19-18 through the season. I was trying to make sure I wasn't confused there. This National League is better than it was last year. You cannot do this again. Do not back into the playoffs. Be aggressive. The Yankees don't bunt Judge. The Phillies don't bunt Harper. The Cubs aren't bunting whoever it is that they're rolling out there. Or Cole Tucker, whoever it is. This defensive baseball crap is what makes your team unwatchable. And recently, instead of being the tight-knit, the Diamondbacks have completely lost who they are. They used to be a team that prided themselves on no mistakes. Zero. But up until recently, now they're a team that only has mistakes. Sorry about that. My thing on my didn't have my thing off, but they used to be a team that didn't need to be that pride themselves on no mistakes, and now they're a team that only has mistakes. My guy Aaron in the chat, who I really like, good dude, but this is an overreaction. It's a long season. All you need to know is baseball is just get into the playoffs. Who cares how you get in there? Aaron, they're 2.5 games out of the playoffs right now. The National League is better than it was last year. I would agree with this take last year until they backed into the playoffs, until they tried to back into the playoffs last year. These games matter. You can't tell me that they don't matter. 2 years ago, the Diamondbacks backed into the playoffs. Sure, they made it to the World Series, but then they tried to replicate what they did the next year, and they missed it. This is a collection. You don't have the same collection of talent next year. Your starting five on paper is not better next year than it will be this year. That's my betting chances on it. I agree with you. It's a little bit of an overreaction, a little bit. But it's not that massive of an overreaction because of what I saw last season. And what we can't have is a duplication of what we had last season. The Diamondbacks got to get their heads out of their ass already. Because this is a team that was steaming to start the season, and now you got guys slumping. Randall Grichuk, Eugenio Suarez, it's either a home run or he's striking out or hitting into a double play. Alec Thomas has been good. Jake McCarthy sent back down. It's too much of this. There needs to be way more of a steady income of wins. I'm not asking you to win the division, but I am asking you to be a firm wild card team all year because it does matter. And that's how I feel. All right, for all of you who I've noticed, I look at the viewership, have been waiting on the Arizona Cardinals talk, here you go. I think that I'm fired up this morning. I don't know if it's my coffee. I don't know if you guys have ever had Better Buzz. This is not sponsored. I don't have a sponsor of this show. Someone's out there. But this stuff's bomb. This stuff is absolutely, you know what? Maybe that's why I'm fired up this morning. I don't know. If you're ready for the Cardinals discussion, let's have it. Everyone is looking at the wrong problem when it comes to the Arizona Cardinals. And just so we're fair, however many people, I can't tell right now, however many people are watching this show right now, and it seems like we've been getting a lot more later viewership in the stream, which is great too. I have been on top of a lot of things. I don't mean to brag, but sometimes I have to because this is a one-man band. I'm the camera guy, script writer, technological guy, producer, social media influencer. I do everything here. And part of what makes the show interesting is I have to see around corners. Otherwise, you're going to go to someone else. A couple months ago, I talked about Max Crosby. Everyone else talked about Max Crosby after that. Literally everyone. Now, it's not saying that everyone stole it from me, but the idea came to me first. A couple of weeks ago, I brought up the Keenan Allen stuff, maybe a week ago, before anyone else did. And lo and behold, now there's articles written about Keenan Allen, and we got other YouTube channels and reacting to it. Guys, this is what I do. I see around corners. I've been watching this team for a long time. I can read the tea leaves. And we talked about this when it came with Keenan Allen. I said, it'd be a nice addition. One, I don't think they'll do it. Two, it doesn't really change the trajectory of the season. And here's why. Because everyone is overreacting to what the Cardinals' problems might be. And the only logical excuse I've heard from Cardinals fans is this one. The Cardinals are one injury away in the wide receiver room from being really below average there. And to that I'd say, yeah, literally every other team is. Justin Jefferson goes down. You don't feel so good about Jordan Addison being your one. Jamar Chase goes down. T. Higgins, probably you still feel good about it. But after that, it's not great. Kansas City Chiefs' his wide receiver room is already below average. They had to go get old man DeAndre Hopkins. So yeah, if the Cardinals have an injury, yeah, it's not going to be great. But there's trades, you can fix those things. What you can't fix is who you are as a football team. You are a smash-mouth football team. And everyone else is looking at the wrong issue once again. The issue is not, to an extent, it is Kyler Murray. Can he complete a full season and be consistent the entire time? That's only a little bit of the issue. What's not an issue is the Cardinals wide receiver room. They've got Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson. They're fine. Let's stop overreacting to the lack of weapons. It's fine. But here's the problem for the Arizona Cardinals. If James Conner goes down again, but this time early in the season, they're a BB gun offense. And with everyone out there complaining about what the Arizona Cardinals' issues are, what could derail their season, it's not the wide receiving core. It's not the defense anymore. And heck, it's not even to a degree Kyler Murray's consistency. It's James Conner. The one thing that worries me more than anything is that they are reliant they are really reliant on a 30-year-old running back who plays downhill and has a lot of tread on the tires and never completes a full season healthy. He's mostly missing at least 2 or 3 games a year. And do you remember what happened when he went down in that Carolina Panthers game? They couldn't move the football. Very next week, lose to the Rams. They're a BB gun offense when James Conner's not in there. Kyler Murray's relying on him. Drew Petzing is relying on him. If you ask me, the Cardinals are way more inclined to go after depth at the running back position than they are at the wide receiving position. This team is a smash mouth, downhill, play off the run, play action, and then we're going to throw the ball deep offense. It's not the inverse. They're not looking to throw the ball downhill first, or they're not looking to throw the ball downfield first. They're looking to gash you in the trenches, get those safeties to creep up, and then beat you in one-on-ones with their route runners. James Conner has to stay healthy for this Cardinals team to have a chance at the playoffs. That's how dire he is. If he goes down, the whole thing goes down. And it's why I advocated for Cam Skattebo on this team. Because Cam Skattebo is just baby James Conner. And so when people told me, oh, you can't because you went and got Trey Benson. Trey Benson was fine. He didn't warrant the 3rd-round pick last year. Could he change that? Sure. But it's why when people said they don't need Cam Skattebo, yeah, they kind of do. They have a running back who plays the same way Cam Skattebo did in James Conner and can never stay healthy for a full season. And for each game that matters for this Arizona Cardinals team, James Conner's got to be healthy. He's going to miss 1 or 2 games. That's baked in. That's just who James Conner is. He plays 2 downhill. He goes after defenders. He seeks contact. We just know he's going to miss 1 or 2 games. That's okay. But in those 1 or 2 games, are you going to learn your lesson? Are you going to be able to hand the ball off to Trey Benson and play the same way? No, I don't think so. The Cardinals' issues are not at wide receiver. They're not at defensive line. They're not at OC even to some extent. The issue is, can James Conner stay healthy? Because I watched this team when they didn't have James Conner last year. They were unwatchable. And part of that is on Drew Petzing. This team cannot be so reliant on a 30-year-old running back who plays downhill with a lot of tread on the tires. We know the stories about 30-year-old running backs. They fall off a cliff. What if James Conner falls off a cliff this year? What if at the start of week 1, he's not the same running back, which would not be a shock. He's 30. Running backs do that. Once the tread happens on the tires, they give out. That's the number one problem for the Cardinals. The number one problem is not weapons, defensively, Drew Petzing. It's can Conner stay healthy? Can Conner be reliable through 17 games? Because when he's on the field, he's one of the most underrated running backs in the league. But when he's not there, the Cardinals are like a chicken run around with its head cut off. They don't know what they're doing. The Panthers steamrolled through this team as soon as James Conner went down. The Rams had no issues with the Cardinals when James Conner went down. This offense has to evolve from a downhill physical runner, lean on James Conner, to we got to lean on Kyler Murray a little bit more. And that's not Kyler Murray's fault. That's on Petzing. Petzing has to be able to be more aggressive, throw the ball downfield. But what can't happen is relying on a 30-year-old running back who's played a lot of games, who's had injuries before. If he falls off a cliff this year, just falls off a cliff, would it surprise you? He's injured often, misses at least 1 to 2 to 3 games a year. He's older, and he plays with reckless abandon on the field, which is great. I want Conner to play that way. I'm not asking for James Conner to change his play style. That is James Conner. That is Arizona Cardinals football. But what happens is they need to be ready for it. They need to be more adaptive to it. Because if you lose Connor again, to any reason, you have a strong concern for this football team. If he goes down in week 2, week 3, you feel screwed. Do you not? So just like how I've seen around corners before, this is the corner that I'm seeing around now. Everyone just forgets what this team looked like against the Panthers. BB gun offense. Couldn't throw the ball downfield. Couldn't move the ball on a Panthers defense that had a lot of young players and not a lot of name brand recognition. They were not a good defense, and they shut you down. And that's what cost you the playoffs. This team is so reliant on James Conner that it worries me. And if you're talking about something that could strongly derail the Cardinals' season, it isn't Petzing to some degree. It isn't Kyler's consistency. They won 8 games with Kyler playing lackluster football at the end of the season. He just plays a little bit better. They win 9, they win 10. It's not defensively. It's the fact that they need James Conner in the worst way possible. A guy that's only rushed for 1,000 yards once, often injured, tread on the tires, 30 years old. Ivan, it's a good idea. Nick Chubb would make sense on this team, but he's not going to sign as a third string running back. He'd probably sign as obviously the second or third string guy, and you'd probably wait for a Conner injury to happen to sign that guy. But it's not a bad idea. Depth at the running back position is far more important than wide receiver depth on this team. McBride, Harrison, Wilson, they're fine. Don't try to tell me Kyler needs more around him. They're fine. But that's the worry for this team. It's not anything else. It's not other positions of need. It's can Conner stay healthy? If he does, I'm largely not worried about the Cardinals' playoff chances. If he doesn't, Cardinals are in a world of hurt. World of hurt. If they haven't adapted and learn from their experiences last season. All right, guys. Reminder, no Ben Garcia show tomorrow. We are a Monday through Thursday show, 7 a.m., 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Unless I'm having technical difficulties, then check the chat. I'll give you an update. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. Aaron, you're right. I forgot he's got 2. Oh, actually, I don't think you are for sure either. I think it's just 1 because he got injured last year. But either way, it doesn't really matter. My point still stands. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. I love interacting with you guys. I'm on Instagram, X, TikTok, whatever social media platform it is. I am there at Ben Garcia Show. Interact with me on there. Say what's up. DM me. Tell me why you love me, but especially tell me why you hate me. I always find those more funnier. As well as, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, guys. That stuff really helps me keep the channel going. I am here Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m., 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Unless, of course, I'm having technical difficulties, then check the chat. I will keep you guys in the loop. Thank you so much for making me a part of your day. And until Monday, it's been the Ben Garcia Show.